Welcome, ECE alumni. It is such a pleasure to have you join us today for this town hall. We're going to give folks just a minute more to make their way from the waiting room into the main Zoom room, and then we'll get started. And again, welcome. And while we're waiting for our town hall to begin, please feel free to add in a comment in the Zoom chat. We'd love to know which city or town you're joining us from and what year you received your ECE degree. So if you're wondering where that chat option is, it's typically along the panel of options on your Zoom panel. You'll see, your mute button, your stop video or start video option. There's a chat option there as well. Great. People are starting to enter in where they're from and when they graduated. That's wonderful to see. Thanks very much for that. Well, I'm going to go ahead and get started. And we'll continue to welcome alumni joining in over the next few minutes. Again, I am so delighted to have this opportunity to connect with you all for our summer virtual town hall. I'm Susan Hagness. I serve as the chair of the Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering. I've been a faculty member here for 26 years, and I've been serving as chair for the last 6 years. We have a special guest with us today. I'm going to turn things over to Dean Ian Robertson in a few minutes, but before we transition to hearing some updates from him at the college level, I want to very briefly share some highlights from our own department, ECE. So the trajectory that we've been on in ECE, has been one of growth. And I'm really excited to share with you some of these growth numbers. At the undergraduate level, comparing the number of undergraduate students we have in computer engineering and electrical engineering now compared to our total enrollment back in fall of 2013, we see that we've almost doubled in size over the last 11 years. We have now more than 1,000 undergraduate students between our 2 undergraduate degree programs. And interestingly, computer engineering is one of the top 10 fastest growing majors on our campus. Our graduate recruitment season this past spring was highly successful, and we now have by far the largest incoming graduate cohort this fall in our department's history. We have over 195 new MS and PhD students joining us this fall. And that's a significant uptick from just fall of 2016 when we brought in 70 new graduate students that year. So how do we support all the student interest in electrical and computer engineering? Well, we've been growing our faculty, and our faculty size is at an all-time high. We have grown from 37 tenure track and tenured faculty plus 5 teaching faculty or instructional staff back in fall of 2014. We've grown that all the way up to 52 tenured and tenure track faculty, as well as 8 instructional staff. Those are either teaching faculty or teaching professors. Now, of those 52, 49 of them as of fall of 2023 had primary appointments in ECE, and an additional 3 have partial appointments in ECE. Their tenure homes are in other departments. We are now one of the most gender diverse ECE departments in the country in terms of the number of women faculty we have. I'm really proud of the progress we've made over the last 6 years that I've been serving as chair. We're currently at 15 women faculty. We've got another woman joining us in June in power electronics. And I'm delighted to share with you that our new Vice Chancellor for Research on our campus will have her tenure home in ECE, Dorota Brezhnev-Brzezinska. So that will bring us up to 17 at a minimum. Now, how have we been growing all this, growing our headcount in faculty? We have been pursuing a strategic hiring plan from 2020 to 2025, focusing on 4 primary themes that map as crosscuts across 8 large research areas of the department. And this diagram illustrates those current research directions within ECE. Now you can see we've got expertise and research activities in everything from solid-state electronics and quantum technologies, applied electromagnetics and acoustics, energy systems, optics and photonics, all the way around to communications, networks, privacy, and security, which is more of a computer engineering area, as well as computer systems and architecture. And then machine learning, signal processing, optimization, and control. Those are our core 8 large research areas. What's really exciting about these 8 research areas is that we have a lot of interdisciplinary research activities across these core areas. Let me give you one concrete example. We have faculty in both solid-state electronics as well as our energy systems research areas who are all working together to pursue the frontiers of gallium nitride power semiconductors. So gallium nitride is a wide bandgap semiconductor material that has the potential for new, highly efficient transistors that can be used in power electronics for all of the electrification directions that our world is headed in. Now, we've been very busy growing our faculty with recruiting new faculty. We currently have 23 assistant professors. So we've had a lot of success with recruiting top faculty candidates. In fact, 13 of them have joined since August of 2022. And if you want to learn more about our faculty, we have a new video series on our website. It's a series called Focus on Faculty. And you can watch some short videos about our individual faculty, their research activities, their teaching activities. You can learn not only about our newest faculty, but also some of our faculty who have been around for a while. So I encourage you to visit our website and check out some of those new videos. Now, these assistant professors that you see on this slide have been recruited across those 8 large research areas of the department. And so we've had faculty joining us in applied electromagnetics and acoustics and solid-state electronics and quantum technologies, as you see highlighted here, machine learning and signal processing, as well as optimization and control, as you see highlighted on the top row. This sort of middle core, these are our newest faculty in communications, networks, privacy, security, computer systems, and architecture. And then we've also brought in some new faculty in energy systems. That's the upper right quadrant of faculty. I want to highlight some of the exciting professional developments of our faculty. So this summer, we're celebrating 4 faculty promotions from assistant to associate professor with tenure and from associate to full professor. So congratulations to these 4 faculty. If you happen to have been a student here in ECE, interacting with any of them, you can send them a note of congratulations. I also want to very briefly highlight some of the examples of faculty excellence. So as I mentioned, we've been recruiting new faculty and helping our current faculty flourish in the work that they do, both in the classroom and in the research labs. And just as 2 concrete examples of this excellence among our faculty, I want to share with you the good news that 4 of our assistant professors applied for and received National Science Foundation Career Awards this spring. And that brings our total NSF Career Award count up to 12 over the last 5 years alone. If you are receiving our ECE print newsletter, you'll read about 3 of these 4 recent Career Award recipients and the exciting work that they're doing in next generation electronics and quantum technologies. And then later this summer, you're going to have an opportunity to read about the 4th Career Award recipient who is working in machine learning. We are also celebrating our senior faculty receiving national and international recognitions. Just a quick shout out to Giri Venkataramanan, who was elevated to IEEE Fellow this spring. and he brings our total fellow count up to 33 who are fellows of IEEE and other societies. Now, I'm going to conclude my brief remarks with some highlights of the ECE student experience. This slide shows you some photos that represent the bookends of the on-campus experience, starting with when we bring in prospective students and their families to explore the opportunities here during our spring Wisconsin engineering experience visit days. The other end of those bookends is our graduation events in May. And we had a graduating electrical engineering senior who we were delighted was selected as the student speaker for the May 2024 College of Engineering graduate recognition ceremony at the Cole Center. And that was an event that followed our ECE graduation brunch celebration in Engineering Hall. So you can see some photos from that event as well. We have a strategic priority to foster a diverse and inclusive community. And as part of that commitment, we are supporting peer networks of students. One great example of that is the Women in ECE student organization. We launched a Women in ECE initiative several years ago, and that grew to the point where we had a strong group of student leaders who wanted to form a formal student organization. And so that Women in ECE group organizes a variety of community building and supportive events for our students who identify as women in the department. We also have a really vibrant ECE graduate student association that provides support and peer network for our graduate students. A couple of other examples of the ECE student experience. We have a variety of new curricular and extracurricular learning opportunities for our undergrads. We have a new data ethics course that was piloted this spring that teaches undergrads how to reduce bias in AI. And that's part of an engineering data analytics certificate program that we help support college-wide. We also this spring had all of our interdisciplinary capstone design courses come together at the end of the semester where students presented their projects and posters to a panel of judges who just happened to be a group of ECE alumni within driving distance, folks who could come in to join us for an inaugural big open house where we celebrated all of those ECE capstone design projects that our seniors completed this spring. We also have lots of great extracurricular learning opportunities for our undergrads. That includes both undergraduate research as well as student design competitions. And just as one example, this spring we supported a cohort of undergraduate students as Alvarado Sustainability Scholars, and that was thanks to the generous support of Fernando and Carla Alvarado. Those students conducted research at the intersection of energy systems and sustainability, and they work directly with faculty this spring on their research projects. ECE financially supports that type of undergraduate research, as well as student organizations that are involved in design competitions, and that support is made possible by gifts from both alumni and friends. So here are two examples of those student design competitions, a rocketry student organization and a solar racing car organization. We're so grateful to the support of our alumni who also partner with us in providing learning opportunities for our ECE students. So a couple of examples of alumni panels that we ran this spring with direct support and engagement of our alumni. We had a panel on patent law, and we also had a panel on the wireless industry. And in both of these cases, we had alumni from around the country who joined us virtually. We had an in-person moderator who helped interface the conversation between the students that were in person and our alumni from around the country that joined us virtually to serve as panelists. So if you as alumni have any interest in joining us for these types of student engagement opportunities, or if you have an interest in exploring any other ways in which you can have a positive impact on our mission here, we have 3 ECE directors of development, Valerie Chesnick, Courtney Spilker, and Tom Van Wy. And if you haven't had a chance to get to know them, I encourage you to reach out to them. If you want to learn more, you can take your phone and take a quick photo of that QR code that's in the upper right corner here. And that will take you to our website, where you can, at the bottom of that particular page, you can fill out a form to indicate how you're interested in getting involved. You can also stay engaged by joining us on our LinkedIn page and other social media if you're not already following us. We also have alumni-hosted events specifically for engineering alumni, and many of you have joined us for those, and we're delighted for those opportunities to connect. In fact, we're currently working on an event to be hosted by an ECE alum this fall in the Twin Cities, and we'll be sharing more about that opportunity later this year. We've also got, in addition to the broad LinkedIn groups where you can follow our department, we've got LinkedIn groups like Hire a Badger Engineer group, where our alumni can also network. So with that, I want to pause, say again, thank you so much for joining us for this town hall. And I'm going to stop sharing, and I'm going to take this opportunity to welcome Dean Ian Robertson, who, as you know from the invitation, has announced that he is stepping down as our Dean of the College of Engineering after 11 very successful years serving as our Dean. So Dean Robertson, thank you for joining our group of alumni, and I'm going to turn things over to you.
So thanks, Susan. I assume you can see the slide and everyone can hear me. So thank you all for taking this time to be with us today and for giving me the opportunity to chat with you and tell you about some of the things about the college. I'm going to go and start with, I hope I'm going to start with something about our undergraduates. So here's the number of undergraduates that we have coming in. So the top line that you see is the number of engineering applications that we get on a yearly basis. And you can see if you go back to 2011, we were maybe 4,500 people applying to become Badger engineers. If you look at it today, we're 8,500. I think the number is even higher again for this incoming class for this fall. What you will notice, though, if you look at the bottom line, that's the number of people we take as first-year students. And there is a gap, right? There is a big difference between the green line and that bottom red line. It's saying that we've stayed constant in the total number of undergraduates that we are bringing into the College of Engineering, despite the fact that more people want to be engineers. And that, I think, is probably one of the biggest challenges facing the college as we move forward. Is the demand is there from the student side. We need to figure out how to be able to take more students into the College of Engineering, But at the same time, we also have to make sure that we maintain that quality of the engineering degree, right? We don't want to just bring in more students, produce bad or poorly educated Badger engineers. That's not what we do. And so we are going to keep limited enrollment. It's going to increase with a new building, but it's still not going to be enough to meet the demand from the students. If we look at the industry side of things, the demand for engineers is just increasing. Last time I looked, earlier this year, we had 15,000 job postings for roughly 1,000 graduate students. So industry wants more Badger engineers. We have to figure out how to actually bring more into the College of Engineering. One of the things that we have done, and one of the things that's been helping, is the Star Scholars Program. So if you're not familiar with the Star Scholar Program, this was enabled by a gift of 20 million from the Granger Foundation. The Granger Foundation also said that it was a matching gift. And that means that anything that comes in for the Star Scholarship is matched by the same amount from the Granger Foundation commitment that we have. and you'll see the first three classes and the growth in those first three classes in Star Scholars. Now, I have one in my parents' name. It's a great thing when you meet these students, incredibly talented individuals, and they tell me that the reason they picked Wisconsin over Illinois, Purdue, Michigan, Ohio State is the Star Scholarship Program. So if you're interested, let us know, because there's still some matching funds there, and I would like to get that matching gift completed before December, when I step down from being the dean. It's just an incredibly good program, so please help me close out this gift. Susan touched a little bit about the faculty. So here is the faculty going back from FY19 through FY23. The red is going to be the men, and I guess it's a gray color that's probably coming out for you, is the number of women that we have. You'll notice that we still have that U shape, so we still have more assistant professors than associate professors, and we still have, about 47% of our faculty are still full professors. You will notice a couple of other things in this figure. The number of women is increasing in the assistant professor category. In fact, if I look at it, it's roughly a third of our assistant professors are women. If you look at the associate professor level, you'll notice that since FY20, the number of women as associate professors, so the number who are making it through the tenure process, continues to go up. Of course, if you look at the full professor level, you'll notice that the percentage of women there is decreasing. We're unfortunately seeing some retirements there, which is the reason for that decrease there. But if I look towards the future and think of what's the college going to look like in another 5 years or so, I'm pretty confident of saying we're going to be up in at least 30% women faculty coming up through our ranks, which is not enough, but is a step in the right direction. So I think there we're actually doing well. We've got a relatively young faculty, with over a third being assistant professors. That's relatively young faculty. And I'll admit I was worried when we started this transition about what was the impact going to be on our federal research grants. So the sort of graph that you see on the right-hand side of the screen just tells you where we are in federal expenditures coming in. And you'll notice that since FY19, we're up quite a bit. The good news is if we went back even a few more years, we were probably less than that. If we look towards this year and where that's being projected, we're actually projecting that we'll be above 116 million. So Susan mentioned we've been hiring some incredibly talented faculty. They're winning national awards. I think when you look at the research that they're bringing into this college, it's looking pretty good. I think the future looks really good for the college. The trajectory for the faculty group that we have, the trajectory for our research expenditures looks good. Undergraduate numbers are all heading in the right direction. So what are our research themes that we have? You'll see listed here the main 6 areas that we have in the College of Engineering. So it's advanced materials, design, manufacturing, engineering, healthcare, energy sustainability and the environment, intelligent systems and communications. And of course, if we make things or we make products, we need to test them. So we have advanced sensing, analysis, and characterization. And sort of throughout all of the college, we have computing and data-driven engineering. The reason for putting this up is I want to highlight 2 of the new areas that the Chancellor has announced for new hiring and where the College of Engineering will play. The first area that the Chancellor announced in the RISE hiring initiative is AI, machine learning, and these 4 areas. And if we had the time, I would take you through and show you that in each of these 4 areas, the College of Engineering has a major presence today. And the good news is we're going to just increase that presence. So from the Chancellor's campaign or hiring initiative, the College of Engineering will see over the next 3 years an increase of about 20 faculty in the AI machine learning area. So our intention is to grow this area. not necessarily distributed equally over these 4 areas, but there will be contributions or additions in each of these areas. We play in all of them already, and we're just going to strengthen what we're doing. The other one is environmental sustainability, and it's got these two strange titles to it, but let me explain what the two subtitles really mean. The first one says that we know we're living in a warmer climate. We've already seen some of the impacts on the environment. We've seen the impacts on weather patterns. One of the things that we need to do is we have to figure out how to adapt and learn how to live with a changing environment. And this will go all the way from agriculture to looking at how plastics actually perform in a warmer climate. Right. So learning how to adapt to what we're going to see over the next couple of decades, that is the first part of the initiative. The second part is that we need to do something about it. Right. And so the federal government, the state government have made statements that we're going to be carbon neutral by 2050. So the second part of the initiative is going to be UW-Madison's contribution to how we can actually help the state of Wisconsin and the nation become carbon neutral and to get there as quickly as we can. These two areas play well within the College of Engineering. And again, if I look at the hiring initiative and the impact in the college over the next 3 years, in these two areas, we'll see an additional 20 faculty come into the College of Engineering. So these two initiatives should see some growth or further growth in the College of Engineering, which is exciting. I think the areas are exciting. There's probably going to be a third one announced in the fall, which I can't tell you what the name of it's going to be. All I can tell you is engineering plays in it again. And so we'll actually see more faculty positions coming in. And I think this is part of the Chancellor's idea that engineering is in a growth phase and she wants to support it. So she's been very supportive about saying, yes, engineering should get the requested positions. One of the things that we've been doing is we've been working on how do we bring in big research, right? We bring in lots of individual grants, but to tackle some of the problems that we are facing today, we need big initiatives. And I'm really pleased with how the Granger Institute's been evolving, and how the faculty have been stepping up. So currently we have the Clean Energy Community Initiative, the Fusion Energy Initiative, we have a Semiconductor Quantum Material Initiative, a Human Interface Controls, and we've got one on energy storage. And the energy storage we're focusing on is going to be for heavy and primary enterprises. So think of trucking, shipping, steel mills. This is where we're actually going to apply where the expertise is. So what are these initiatives? Well, I'll tell you about the Clean Energy Community Initiative. What that's been doing is it's built a group of faculty who are interested in research related to clean energy. It's got community college partners. It's got industry partners. It's got venture capital. It's got high schools engaged with them. It's just built a big community of partners. Some of the successes of that community have not been directly to UW-Madison, but to our partners. So some of you may have heard about the Alliant Long-Term Energy Storage Dome that they're going to put in Portage. They received $30 million from the Department of Energy, which is about half the cost of putting in this energy dome. They're going to put it in as part of closing down a coal-fired power plant. Right? So this is a big deal. If we can actually close down the coal-fired power plant, we can get jobs for the people in that community. And the new energy storage dome, we've also helped figure out how we can actually store some of the energy from renewables. Alliant Energy would tell you that they would never have got this if it hadn't been for the Clean Energy Community Initiative and how that helped bring together people. We've also been working with the tribal nations, and that's turned out to be very rewarding as we try and work with the tribes to help them secure some resources. So today, we've helped secure $75 million to bring in solar projects into tribal lands. And we're going to help them with the storage. We're going to help them with the microgrids that they're going to need to run them. Just a great example of I guess we would say the Wisconsin idea. How do we actually take out some of the things we've learned, put them into practice? Our hope is that our fusion energy initiative, our semiconductors, the human interface controls, and energy storage are going to take off just the same way. So this is some of the things that we're looking forward to as we go into the future. Now, let me touch on the building. This was a big achievement, and there's many people, probably some of you in this call, who actually helped convince the legislator that we need more engineers, we need more Badger engineers, and the only way we're going to get them is if we have more space, more people to provide that high quality education. So this is the sort of layout for where the new building will be. So for some of you, so you can see Engineering Drive down at the bottom of the screen, Campus Drive up at the north. If you, depending when you graduated, your favorite building, which we call 1410 Engineering Drive or Computer-Aided Engineering, or if you go back far enough, the Highway Lab, that building's disappearing. We're knocking it down. And so the new building will actually start there, extend all the way over the green space. It will become one of the largest buildings on campus. So it's 7 stories high, so 6 above grade, 1 below grade. It's about 400,000 gross square feet. It comes in at a current price tag of $347 million. So it's big. And it's going to make a difference in this campus. So what's it going to look like? This is what it's going to look like. You'll see some small classrooms over on the far left of that upper image. They're almost dead center. And the second image on your right, these are state-of-the-art classrooms. The upper 2 levels will be 220-seat capacity active learning classrooms. You'll also notice that there's lots of windows because we want the light to come in. So that's the classrooms. We went with a big bar building because we want it to be flexible. We want it to be functional for the lifetime of the building, which around here is about 100 years. So it needs to be flexible. That big long bar is going to contain labs for research, labs for undergraduates. It's quite remarkable. And I'll show you a few of the floor plans just in a moment. So this is what the building's going to look like. Hopefully you like what you see. I did mention that it's $347 million to build. The state of Wisconsin is going to give us $197 million. We need to raise $150 million. And so I'm going to be calling in all engineers, all of you who say, you had a great education here. We were responsible for your careers to help us raise that $150 million. Again, it's something I'd like to do before I leave. So the clock's ticking in that one. So if you can help and you would interest in help, please let me know. And hopefully we'll be able to raise that $150 million. It's a lot, but it's going to bring in more students, bring in more faculty, and it's going to keep us at the forefront. I think it's something that hopefully you agree we just simply must do. So a couple of interior spaces, one of the main classrooms. You'll notice that the upper beams, other than the big one along the center, are actually wood. So this will be a wood supported structure. It'll be the first in the UW system. We thought it was actually going to change the learning environment for our students. So we're very supportive of using the wooden structure. This will also be one of our primary event spaces. So we will be inviting you back to campus when this is built, and you'll be hosted in this space. Labs, you'll see an example on the right-hand side. Flexibility is key. So the only things that are fastened down, sinks, fume hoods, everything else is on wheels. All of the utilities are going to come down from the ceiling, so that it's relatively easy for us to reconfigure the spaces. So if you remember, if you were here as a grad student, or even as an undergraduate in a research group, our labs tended to be small individual faculty spaces, not these ones. These are designed to have about 4, 5, 6 faculty groups, all in the same space, all working using the same facilities. We think it's the way to move things forward because it brings together interdisciplinary teams. Couple of floor plans just to let you see what it's going to be. So this is the first floor. You'll see a couple of undergraduate labs on the north side. Robotics, so this will be mainly for drone research, will be in the robotics space. You can see the big 220-seat classroom on the south part. Then the autonomous vehicle lab is actually going to be also located here. We currently have 5 autonomous vehicles and have no place to put them on our campus. And so this new space will actually allow us to bring those vehicles back to campus. We think it's exciting because if you noticed all that glass that's around there, we want to put engineering on display. So if you're coming to game day, just visiting campus, you're going to see what we're doing in our undergrad labs and in the research spaces. Engineering is exciting, so we might as well let other people have some of that joy that we know is engineering. 6th and 7th floor, you'll see the labs. You'll notice they're all big labs. So the labs are all on the north side or the upper side of that figure. They're roughly 3,000 square foot labs. So they're big. One part I want to point out to you is the 7th floor. It's pretty empty at the moment. This is the industry partner space. We've heard from industries that they would really like to be close to the students, close to the talent, close to the research, but they don't want to have off-campus space. So industry partners will be able to rent this space from us, be right here with us, direct access to the talent. So if this is something you think would be of interest to your company, get in touch with me and we can start working on it. Our goal is to have the industry partner floor full prior to going to building. Our goal will be as we do the build, we will build out the industry partner space, but it's space you design and that you rent. I think it's an exciting development for the College of Engineering. So let me stop there and see if there are any questions.
Thank you, Dean Robertson. So alumni, please feel free to either raise your hand and ask your question directly, or if you want to put your question in the chat, we'll tackle questions as they come in. Are there any questions for Dean Robertson? Well, Dean Robertson, as you know, some of the alumni submitted questions in advance. And so while we're waiting for our alums to submit questions directly now, I'm going to go to our question bank here and share with you a question that came in from one of our alumni here in the Fitchburg area. And the question was, what does Dean Robertson plan to do after stepping down as dean?
Are we allowed to say who sent this in? Hey, Rick. Not going to call you out or anything, but thanks for the question. One of the things that we do get after when we step down from being dean, we do get something like quasi-sabbatical. And so we get to go in sabbatical to think about what it would be like to go back in the classroom. I mean, I've been in a classroom in, I'm not going to tell you how long, but let's just say that the practices of being in a classroom have changed a great deal since I've been there. And so one of the things you get to do during that sort of quasi-sabbatical is you get to learn all of the things you've been telling other people that they should learn so that they're good instructors. So that'll be one of the things. The other thing is trying to figure out how to catch up in the literature and research. And so that's the plan, is catch up in research, find out what the latest developments are, figure out what I would actually teach and relearn how to be in a classroom. So that's the current plan.
Sounds like a great plan. Hey, we got a hand up from Ken Liasagang. I apologize if I'm not pronouncing your last name correctly. Ken, please feel free to go ahead and ask your question. Ken, if you are asking a question, you need to unmute yourself because we cannot hear you at the moment.
Well, you pronounce it better than I do sometimes. So I graduated in 1976, a long time ago, and all I can say is, wow, I'm excited to see it all happen, and very proud of everything that everybody is doing. So no questions other than looking forward to the future.
Great. Thanks very much, Ken. And we'll look forward to welcoming you back to Madison if that is in your future. Welcome you back anytime, but in particular, once this new building is up, it'll be an exciting visit for many of our alumni to see the transformation of the engineering part of campus. Ian, would you like to add anything to that enthusiastic thumbs up from Ken?
No, thank you. Thanks, Ken. I think one of the things I would say, if you can avoid campus for the next 3.5 years, you should probably try and avoid it. Don't try and drive into lot 17. So we'll start taking down 1410 in the fall. The utility project is going to start sometime next year. That's going to dig up a lot of part of campus. And then after that, the building comes right on top of that utility project. So we'll be under construction for a few years. So we're going to ask that you be patient as you come on campus. It's going to be challenging, but I think in 2028, when this building is open, you're going to like it, and all the sort of pain and suffering of getting into Access to Engineering campus will be well worth it.
I'm going to go ahead and pose a question that came in advance from Matt Oswald, and he asks, what are the current biggest career challenges and opportunities for our engineering graduates?
Oh, you're giving me that question, Susan?
Yeah,
oh.
I am.
I think so the challenge is there's so much in demand is trying to figure out where they're going to go. So the demand is so high for going off to industry at the moment that what we tell industry is, if you come to career fair and expect to hire one of our students, one of our seniors, you're probably going to get zero, right? So one of the things that we're encouraging companies to do is get engaged with us early. You have to be in our campus working with the students from when the students are first year. Right? That way you're going to actually develop a relationship with the student body, and your chances of recruiting them are going to be much higher. So I think the biggest challenge we have at the moment is the demand is just so high. How do we actually meet the demand from industry and the demand from students? I'm not sure we have challenges. I mean, our education is going to change, right? I mean, clearly AI machine learning is going to change the education and what our students need when they go out. But we're working on making those changes now. So we're going to produce highly qualified engineers going forward.
Ian, there's a question that came in on the chat here that's a follow-up to your update about the new building plans. So Brad says the new building plans look beautiful. It'll be a true centerpiece of the West End of campus. How are the existing engineering buildings holding up from a maintenance longevity perspective? That is a great question, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a tough one to answer. So if you probably noticed last year, we not only flooded the engineering centers building where we put 55,000 gallons of water from the penthouse all through the building. We also had a fire in engineering hall. We had about 3 other minor floods. Other than that, the buildings are all great. We have been working on the buildings. There's been a lot of improvements in the spaces that we have, right? So we aren't sitting back saying, the spaces are what they are. We've actually been upgrading them. So when you are back on campus, please come into Engineering Hall. And while it's not going to be an ECE space that we're going to initially direct you to, I mean, there are ECE spaces you can go see, but there's also some others that will give you where we're intended to go with some other parts of the buildings. And at the basement, so chemical and biological engineering just built a beautiful lab for their undergraduates. It was about, I think in the end, about a $12 million project. But if you had friends who are chemical engineers, their summer lab has gone from being a dark and dingy experience to one that's going to be bright. And Susan can certainly tell you about the upgrades to the ECE labs that were also either in the progress or are in the planning stages. Also, at the back of Engineering Hall, you'll see a structures lab. So if you ever did a mechanical property test, now when you go in there, all new equipment, it is a state-of-the-art facility for our undergraduates. So we continue to invest in the buildings because they're going to be around for a long time. But the new building will allow us to do things that we just can't adapt to new buildings to do. So clean rooms, fume hoods, wet chemistry type spaces, they're in high demand and short supply on the engineering campus at the moment. But come back and see what we've done with the spaces. We've been looking after those buildings because they will be around a long time.
Yeah, as many of you know, ECE is primarily anchored right now in Engineering Hall. We've got a little bit of activity over in the Engineering Centers building and also in the basement of Mechanical Engineering, where there happen to be the in high demand vibration isolation pads for some of our quantum sensing, optics and photonics research, quantum materials research, where vibrations are a problem. So if you haven't been back to visit us, yes, we will absolutely show you the beautiful new space that illustrates as Ian's described, a massive renovation, just a really inspired renovation of that chemical engineering summer lab space in the basement in the southeast corner of the building. But we can also show you what we've been able to do with some of the ECE instructional labs that our undergraduate students spend a lot of time in. We've created really state-of-the-art spaces that are outfitted with new equipment that they need for the entire 4 years that they spend with us. So they're in those instructional labs, engaging in hands-on design experiences from the moment they step foot on the engineering campus as first-year students, all the way through their senior capstone design experiences. So we've been able to transform some of those older spaces in Engineering Hall. You know that Engineering Hall, the older parts of the building are quite old, but we've really been effective in upgrading those spaces so that they're aesthetically pleasing and pleasant for the students to spend a lot of time in, because they have to spend a lot of work, put in a lot of work effort in completing the courses, as you all well know. So would welcome you back anytime to show you some of those examples of how we have been continuing to upgrade the existing spaces as we eagerly await for the ability to expand into the new building. Who else has questions for Dean Robertson? I'm also happy to answer questions about ECE, but while he's still on the call, I want to make sure we get your questions routed to him. Anything else that you'd like to ask Dean Robertson? I'm going to see if anybody else has their hands up. No. Ian, there was one other question that I think would be well answered by you, because it's a broad question that really addresses it. Kind of hits across the entire College of Engineering, and that is a question that came in advance from Jorge Rodriguez, who asked, what are we doing to support minority engineering students in ECE, but also, more broadly in the College of Engineering? I think that would be a good question to tackle at this time.
Yeah, that is a good question. I think, Jorge, that one of the things you'll find is that throughout the College of Engineering, what part of our mission is, and we're all engaged in this, is we want to create an environment that's inclusive and welcoming to everyone. We believe that by having that kind of environment is how we all do our best, right? It's how we learn best. It's how we will do the best research. It's just the right kind of environment that all of us want to work in. So we're fully committed to doing that, right? We're also, that also means that we need to have different programs to help different people who learn in different ways, who think in different ways. So we do have those efforts in the College of Engineering. It's something that everybody on the leadership team, and I'd say very broadly across the engineering campus, everyone is committed to making sure we have the right environment for everyone to learn. Now, one of the things we need to figure out to do, and if you can help, we'd much appreciate your help in this area. The demand for engineering is going to just keep increasing, right? If you look at the semiconductor field, for example, they're calling for 100,000 extra jobs. if you're talking about clean energy technologies, if you're talking battery storage, hydrogen, each one of them says another 100,000 jobs on top of what we produce today. We can't, I don't know how we're going to meet that demand, but it's absolutely essential we do. So one thing that we're trying to figure out how to do much better at, how do we get more and more people saying, engineering is just the right career for me, like, because I can make a huge difference, whether it's in climate, whether it's in water, or in transportation, communications. So any ideas that you might have for how we can get more people interested in pursuing an engineering career path? We need to do it not only here at UW-Madison, but also as a nation. I think that's one of the things. One of the things we have seen, so I'll tell you the numbers for this year. This year's incoming class is going to be 1,450 undergraduates coming in, which for us puts us up into the high end of our incoming classes. So we will have 11% will be from underrepresented groups. 34% will be women, which I think, if my memory is correct, is the first time we've broken the 30% in terms of number of women coming in to the College of Engineering. So it's not only the percentage going up, but the total number going up. Our total number of historically underrepresented students, it's about, we are 11% on average over the 4 years. This incoming class is 11%. But remember, the total number that's coming in is actually much larger than we've had before. So we're making some progress. We have some outreach efforts with high schools that we're trying to get more people just excited about engineering. And so I think that's one of the things we need help with, is convincing more people that engineering is the right career path for them, and that with that career path, they can make a huge difference.
Great. I'm also really proud of the hard work that's happening once we get those students here and interested in engineering, the hard work that's happening within the College of Engineering at all levels to support our students holistically. We have affinity groups, so it's really important for students from minoritized groups to have community where they can find that affinity support. We have a host of support mechanisms that ensure that we don't lose students through leaky pipelines. We want to make sure that once students make that commitment to pursue a degree in engineering, that they make it all the way through. And regardless of what their background is, whether they came from a rural high school or a really highly rated urban high school, regardless of what preparation they've had in 3 years of calculus in high school versus maybe a semester of calculus or whatnot. We want to welcome them all in, make sure they all have on-ramps, and that they're retained through the 4 years. So that continues to be an area of investment for us. I'm delighted with the commitment Ian has demonstrated throughout the College of Engineering, out of the Dean's office, direct support for investment in student success. So it's worth celebrating as well. Ian, we have another question that just came through the chat. This is also from Brad Bourgeois. Brad, you'll have to tell me if I got your last name correct there. And Ian, this is tied into, I think, the comments that you shared about the broad campus-wide RISE AI initiative, tied in certainly on to the point I made about how we've been hiring in machine learning and AI within ECE. So Brad writes, Microsoft recently announced a huge AI project in Southeast Wisconsin. Have you had any discussions for collaboration?
Yeah, so this is taking with their data center that they're going to put in there, and what's going to come after the data center. So I think the simple answer that I can't tell you more about, Brad, is yes. We are having discussions with Microsoft, and we do expect partnerships with them as they actually start building a presence here in Wisconsin. I mean, if you think of one of the things they're going to do, they're going to need talent. And I'd say that this is the best place to come if you're after not just engineering talent, but so they're going to have to be here, and we are talking to them about what partnerships might look like.
Another question that just popped in from Yoon Kim. Are the new engineering buildings going to be like electrification or net zero green buildings, like microgrids to save energy costs?
So that's a really interesting question. You'll notice there's lots of windows in our building. That's unusual for this campus to have so many windows. It's also, you know, we had to get special permission from the state to put in so many windows. And I'll tell you why we're putting in so many windows in a moment. The reason we can put them in is this is a fume hood intensive building. So actually it is an energy intensive building. But even with that said, is that what we've been doing is we're trying to look at how we can recirculate, recapture anything that we can in order to reduce our energy footprint. The building will have some solar panels on the roof. In terms of providing much energy to the building, the answer is it's going to be nothing compared to running those fume hoods. So the reason we're also so many windows in it is because it's got those fume hoods in it, and fume hoods take a lot of energy. Any of the sort of change of the energy efficiency of the building due to the window density is negligible compared to the fume hoods. But we are doing everything we can to save energy, to save water, is being done in the building. So that's been one of the primary things that we've been talking to the architects about. I think we're going to do the best we can to minimize energy consumption, but remember, this is a big energy building.
All right. And last question that I see here is about Brad's company having tight university relations with other Big Ten universities. Brad, we would absolutely be delighted to connect you with our Engineering Career Services team, our Office of Corporate Relation. We'll make that connection after this call so that you can learn about how you can add UW-Madison to that list of key partnerships for your company. Dean Robertson, let me take this opportunity to say thank you on behalf of ECE for joining us today as our guest presenter. It's a really timely opportunity for you to connect with our ECE alumni. ECE friends, thank you again so much for taking time out of your schedule to check in with us, hear about some of the latest developments, and please do keep in touch. We love partnering with our alumni. You are part of our mission, so please stay in touch. Enjoy the rest of your day, and again, thanks so much for joining us for this town hall. We'll see you next time.
So Susan, you got one more question come in by the looks of it.
Oh, yes, I just saw that. How do we educate the public of what research and other work that is taking place at UW Engineering that impact everyone to engage the public more? Melvin, thank you for that question. Ian, you want to take that one as a final thought?
Melvin, this is something that's absolutely critical we do. I mean, one of the things I was really impressed with when there was a doubt that we were going to get the engineering building, we called out to people across the state, not just engineers, but just companies across the state, individuals across the state. And we told them what we were doing here at UW-Madison, whether it was in healthcare, transportation, communications, and the amount of support we got was tremendous from all across this state. Do we have to do a better job at making sure we don't have to wait till the next time we need a new building to do that communication? Absolutely. I mean, if you're in the state of Wisconsin and can invite someone to come and visit with your company, visit your region, and there's speaking opportunities for us, we'd welcome those, because we do need to get out. We do need to tell how good we are, how much of an impact we have on this state. And so if there are opportunities for us to come out, host an event with you, please let us know. We'll do that. How can you learn about it? We keep sending out magazines to tell you about here's the exciting things going on in the college. Hopefully you get the Perspective magazine. there's usually all sorts of good stories about engineering research or what our undergraduates are doing in that magazine. I know ECE sends out materials as well. I'd take those as a starting point. And if you read something in there and you go, well, I don't quite understand it, give us a call. We're happy to explain it to you. And again, thanks for the question. That's really an important thing that we must work on and we must do better. But certainly when we do go out, we've got a lot of support. So thank you all for your time, and thank you for the support of ECE and for your college. And it's been an honor for me to be the dean for the last decade. So thank you. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Take care, everyone. Thanks again for joining.